last couple of years, I've built two different styles of cold plunges. One like this and one like that. But the problem with cold plunges is that they're extremely expensive, especially if you want something that looks nice and has all the filtration and the coldness you can ever imagine. Well, in today's video, we will be building one ultimate, perfect, cold, filtered, beautiful cold plunge. Let's get started. What we're working with is a 150-gallon poly tank, poly resin tank to be specific. I bought this at my local farming equipment store. They also sell them at your local hardware stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, the whole shebang. I've built two other cold plunges before. One, put a picture right here. This one looked awesome, but it had zero filtration. And with all the weather, it started falling apart, at least the exterior siding that we used. The second cold plunge I built is out of an old broken down chest freezer. It had a little bit of filtration, but it completely sucked. Well, in today's mission, we will be building the ultimate cold plunge. One that is beautiful to look at, so it's not an eyesore, one that's not too big, and one that will stand all the weather, not to mention, it's gonna be ice cold. We are predicting 38, 39 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's gonna have the professional filtration system that's gonna be hands-off for us. Let's get started. So my previous cold plunge was a classic coffin look. It was a rectangular. It looked awesome, but when I want to try something different, so we have this radius 150-gallon tank. So what I want to do is follow this profile on it that kind of gives it almost like a barrel sauna kind of look. And then we're going to do vertical cleats on it, right? So the tub is going to go inside. We're going to have a little bit of gap here. I'm going to put an apron on around. And that apron will allow for the drainage. It'll conceal the lip portion of our tank here and also give it a nice fitted look. As far as cover, there's a few options. We can always build one, and I think we might, but they also, for this setup, for this exact container, they actually have insulated cover. So we'll see which one looks the coolest. I also don't want to have my chiller built into the unit. My previous setup did, and what I've learned, and I've learned a lot of lessons from the two cold plunges I built, is that in the summertime when it's like 90, 95, 100 degrees outside, that chiller has a hard time cooling off. So we're definitely gonna have it outside to make sure that our cold plunge stays cold. It's in the name. Let's get into it. So what I'm thinking is we first start with the frame to accommodate this radius here. So we're gonna use this cheap piece of subflooring plywood. And what I want to do is cut out the outer ring that's going to be about yay wide that we'll start building our frame. And then we need the bottom piece that will recess in. I think I'm pretty confident that we can accomplish all of it with just this $30 piece. Bruh. Oh, and by the way, this 150-gallon tank was $116 after tax. So you kind of know where the budget is. Make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to show you what was wrong with the previous versions and what this entire budget cost us. So I traced the outer rim around it so it's completely flush. Then I'm adding a 3.5 to, let's do 3 3/4. This section is gonna be for our 2x4 framing to go around the radius. So we need this little apron plus to fit any kind of insulation because just because that's a container, it could be a very inefficient container. So there's smarter ways to do it, and Kyle just informed me. I could just take a block of 2x4 and trace the bin as it sits over my first stencil, and it'll create the perfect gapping. You're a genius, Kyle. Not just a wizard with a camera, but a wizard in building. Little blade feeding trick's not working. We'll give it one last chance and then we'll try to create a pilot hole. Ah, she doesn't want to do it. All right, look at that fancy ring. Well, I'm happy that it's not too big, but we're catching on some stuff. which is probably a good thing because I can get a snug fit out of it. Oh, that's pretty. And theoretically, if my math adds up, this should fit on top of this thing. Well, actually, I think I'm gonna need 2 of these. I thought this is gonna be perfect, which technically we can bevel it. I don't want to bevel it. I'd rather keep it nice and straight like a barrel. Let me see if I have enough material here. Probably don't with my luck, but we'll see. I need another piece. I should have bought 2. Bruh. For some reason, I thought I can fit both in. Oh well, off to the hardware store. All right, looking good. So my OCD is kicking in. I don't like how wavy these cuts are. They're not gonna make the next step any more easier or harder, but the OCD is talking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw in like 3 to 4 screws, secure these 2 together, throw it on my sander to make sure they're the same radius, and take it apart, and then I'll figure out how to get some depth in this thing. We got our base, we have our top. This is now where we connect the dots now. The goal here is to keep this completely flush with the top part here. All right, we got 24 inches. That should be absolutely perfect. What I'm gonna do is now cut some 2x4s and start basically reinforcing this frame. Now it's gonna have an aesthetic look as well to it, but first, the frame. So I'm probably thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 2x at 24 inches. This should keep it flush with the top. You know what's fun about building things like this? Cold plunges are super expensive, between like $5,000 and $10,000, $12,000, depending on what you get. And it's so cool when you can just build the damn thing. Like, yeah, it's not what the engineers made and the whole different kind of quality, but even if you get it to like 80%, that's well worth it, man. All the money saved, and you have all the amenities that you always wanted, like a cold plunge. It's the best. All right, moment of truth. I feel pretty good about it, but you know, you never know with these things. Oh. Shouldn't have dropped that like that so aggressive. Things could have gone bad, something could have break. All right, now let's get our level. Woo-wee! We are flush. If that was our mission, we accomplished it. This is shit, dude. This is awesome. Oh, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Let's start figuring out the outside frame. Here's what I'm thinking. We line them up vertically like this. We glue and brad nail them to this and this piece of plywood. It's gonna give this really cool, like I said, barrel look. I don't like this unfinished part of this 2x4. So I think what I'm gonna do is just one side, I'm gonna throw it on my thickness planer just to get a nice clean reference. Maybe I'll trim off some of this little rounded over part just a little bit. And then once we get to these radiuses, well, that's later Alex's problems. Right now, Alex's problem is we need to cut as many of these as we can and start attaching them, and then figure out the rest. Here's a plan of attack. We first need to identify where the bend starts happening. It looks like it starts happening right over there. And I want to get these scaps as tight as possible. I'm going to work on the straight line first. Then once we get to the bevel, then we'll start completely going around it, because I do have to put a miter on both ends to contour this frame. And the way I'm going to do this is 2 parts. I'm going to put wood glue on top and bottom, and then I'm going to shoot 16 gauge nails in there. Now the nails aren't really gonna hold it. I mean, they will, but just enough time for the glue to dry. Once the glue dries, it should be a lot more stable. I want to avoid using screws only for the reason of it's not going to hold that great going through. Oh, I'm bleeding. That's cool. Through this plywood here. Also, I don't want to see screw holes. I'd rather deal with a couple of little pinholes that won't even be seen by the time we have an apron on them. That's what's going on in my crazy brain right now. So love it or hate it, it's there. Take just a little skosh off this way. That. Split that little skosh over here. So here's what I came up with for this radius to keep this tighter. I just put about a 5-degree bevel on both sides of the sides here. And then I'm also putting glue not only here, but also along the sides for a little bit added support. So once it goes on, this creates more of a minimalistic kind of look. So as you can see, they're not, I mean, maybe there's a 64th of an inch right here. Pretty good, not bad at all. It continues everywhere versus if we didn't do these cuts, both sides, they're gonna be super wide gaps, like almost like a 1/4 inch. So it's working, 5 degrees bevel on the table saw, no problem. The 16 gauge brad nails are holding well. I feel confident about it. We got 49 2x4s all attached nice and dry. We have silicone all the seams on the inside to keep all the moisture out, from outside in actually. And then we have our foam insulation on our tub, and we ran into some problems, but we're figuring that out as we go. So there's a couple of reasons for the silicone in my mind, the way I'm processing it. Yes, it keeps the water from splashing on the inside and deteriorating the wood, but also this is the unfinished part. So if any of this stuff gets wet in here, it's gonna start warping the wood, and all the stuff that we worked so hard to glue up is gonna delaminate, versus the outside is gonna be finished with urethane. That's not gonna do anything harmful for it, but protect the inside, also protects the outside, I guess. Now we're gonna hit it with some foam insulation. I'm not sure I got the right stuff. This goes up to 1 inch. This is gaps and cracks. Might be the wrong stuff. Let me know in the comment section. But I can do up to 1 inch here. We'll throw that on there, and then we'll put in our secondary insulation. Oh my God. All right, this is gonna be a mess. So let's get all barbaric on it. I'm gonna try lathering it on. This is stupid. Nope. Lathering ain't gonna do anything to it. I should have got like wall insulation, because that stuff sprays and it sticks. This stuff only fills the cavity. Not happy with this. Not happy. Okay, plans are shifting. Let me figure something out. All right, plans are quickly shifting here. This is working a lot better. I think gravity's working against us there. Versus here, this is working actually just fine. I have up to this part to be able to fill it with any kind of insulation that I want, at least spray foam wise. And then we should be in the clear. We found a solution. Yay. This is working a lot better when you go slow and you build it up, so it has something of a leverage point to keep it from sliding all the way off. I got 2 sides fully done. We got the sides here and then maybe a little bit in here. Keep the bottom insulated as well, and we should be looking good. All right, I'm out of cans. That's 4 cans. I probably need maybe 2 more cans, make it a total of 6. Give this another coat, fill this in, it should be good. I'm gonna let this dry. Let's start working on the next thing because I still gotta run down to the hardware store to get more of these. For our secondary insulation, I'm using this 1.5 inch compressed insulation. This is Formula NXG. I like how dense this stuff is, and it's easy to work with than trying to wrap all of our batten inside. I also wanna stay away from batten insulation. It just, I actually haven't thought why, but there's a part of me that thinks this works better and it's slicker. So correct me if I'm wrong. What we're gonna do is slice and dice this thing, and I think we're just gonna contour as much as we can here. My biggest concern is to make sure that it's not so rough in dimensions that we're gonna have a hard time fitting our tub. So the narrower the pieces, the better chances we have of saving this really snug fit. Oh yeah, this is why I like working this stuff. It's a lot easier to cut. I end up using the remainder of material just because I had the room for it and the materials on hand, and just kind of insulated some of the random spots here. There's no need to go get another piece. Besides, by the time we use this 1.5 inch insulation and our foam insulation, which I'm gonna hit it heavy again, this thing is gonna be better insulated than your Yeti cooler, baby. Well, I have 3 staple guns and no staples. That's how these projects tend to go. So we have to throw the liner in there, and we have nothing to secure that liner from falling in. So I'll add it to my list of going to the hardware store, but what we're gonna do is throw the liner in there, fold it over, temporarily secure with screws, and then once I pick up staples, we'll staple it. Oh, I almost forgot. I gotta drill some holes through this thing. By the way, I'm 6'2", 205 pounds, and this is perfect for my size. This 150 gallon is absolutely perfect. Now, like I said, I gotta get some staples to get the sucker down, but we got quite a bit of gluing up to do overnight, so we need to start working on this apron. The idea here is I wanted to protrude over here by about 1 inch, and I wanted to come in 1 inch in here. And that's gonna help water drain in here, and at the same time, give us a nice ring around this that if you have a timer that you need to put in here for your 3 minutes or 5 minutes, however long you do your cold plunges, or you have your phone with you, or maybe your cup of coffee, you can have that there. So let's see what we can come up for that. This is so sick. 2x8s on the sides. This is gonna create more of a flush look. We can bump it up to 2x10, but this works as well. Got this all to size. We're gonna have some filler pieces. By the way, all this is gonna get glued in. You can use pocket holes from the bottom if you want. Then we're gonna add these little remnant pieces in the corners, and the reason why, this is all gonna match the profile, so this is gonna be a radius, and this is gonna be a radius on the inside as well. But that's tomorrow's subject. Today is we gotta glue this puppy up. Got everything out of the clamps, got it sanded roughly. I feel okay about it. I'm a little nervous about this radius cutout, but here's what I'm thinking. I think our best option here is gonna be just to mount it on top as is, make sure our alignments are good, and then trace it from the bottom. Now, from that point on, the only way I could figure out to cut this thing out is with a jigsaw. However, I've seen so many awesome builders, creators, use a CNC to create a template and then router it out, and it comes out so freaking perfect every time. And I'm so jealous, but I have to make do with what supplies I have on hand, the tools that I have on hand. And unfortunately with that, it means using a jigsaw. That also means there's a high chance that the blade is gonna bend at least slightly. There's no way to control that, at least to my skill level. But I think with a little bit of sanding afterwards and some routing over the edges, we might be able to just to get away with it. We're running into a problem. I did not accommodate for this radius on the sides. This worked well. This created a nice radius, but we need 2 small pieces per corner to fill in this gap. You could see the entire lip of that tub. Now, this might be serendipitous for us. Reason why, for the last couple of days, I was contemplating the idea and a cleaner look, as opposed to this running into it. If we would have like an undermount sink, we would have this sitting on top like a top mount sink. Now, the reason I like that idea is because it creates a nice profile with a lip, number 1. Number 2, because it would sit on top, that heavy duty lip, I could silicone around so water would never actually spill inside, which is brilliant. And number 3, I think it's gonna look a lot cooler by having it fitted on top versus the bottom. I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me know which way you would have gone on this. I think based off of my circumstance here, we're just gonna have to do that. I'm gonna take the tub out, create the silhouette around it, trace it, and then retract it by maybe, I don't know how big the slip is, by, we'll call it 3/4 inch, we'll call it an inch, and then hopefully it'll just sit flush. Change of plans, that's life for you. This is where stapling this would have been very handy yesterday. Just like I expected, the foam is in the way, but we can either force it in or slice around it. Ooh, I got a flush cut saw. There's a few more mods that we need to make. Obviously, this little gripper, I guess, handle, if you want to call it, we need to notch it out on the side so it matches this profile. That way it could sit, but I also have some few more bulky pieces of insulation foam that we need to trim off, but I think we're definitely getting there. It's working. Oh, it's working. I just love when a plan comes together, boy. This situation, we have such a damn strong cold plunge right now. Insulated, check. Badass looking, check. Waterproofed on the inside in like 3 different levels. This thing is so sick. I'm really proud of myself right now. Now, what we gotta do still is I need to create a radius here because this is gonna be plumb. I know we said overhang, but should have got a wider material. So I'm gonna just trace it from the bottom, take this all out, flip it over, cut that, and then it'll match the profile on it. Wait till I tell you what we do with the cover because I got a brilliant idea. Over the years, you guys have always been asking, are there plans available? Are there plans available? I've never done plans until now. So for this cold plunge, better buckle up. There will be plans for you to check out so you can recreate this exact same cold plunge. For securing this mumbo jumbo, I'm going to put 3-inch screws along the perimeter. Now, we want this thing to look badass, so I'm going to countersink these screws with this bit. And then I'm gonna just chop off, these are Craig pocket hole plugs. I'm gonna chop off the thing and I'm gonna plug all those holes. If I had dowels, I would have used dowels, but I don't wanna go buy dowels, so I'm just gonna use this. Did this before on the outdoor furniture method. It looked great. And you won't see screws. Oh, don't mind me, just being resourceful. Reusing pocket hole plugs for screw plugs. Our top is completely secured and might I add, looking beautiful with these plugs. I love that you can't see any screw holes. A lot of sanding. We got a lot of sanding. We're gonna clean up this radius. We're gonna round it over, blend the rest of the bottom in. I already did that the day before, but we're gonna blend it with this apron. And then I'm gonna run down to the hardware store, see what kind of stain we can pick up. I'm gonna get some natural tones that look like cedar, but I'm not really trying to mimic it. Or else we would have just used cedar, which would have been a pain in the butt to do these round over stuff, I think. Damn it, I need 1 more 1/4 inch in order to actually hit this flush. Wasted a freaking purchasing a new bit. I guess I have to do this old fashioned way and just grind it off with sanding. This is the color that I found. The color is amber, it's by Minwax. Fun fact, never used it before. Stain never turns out the way you see those little samples at the store. They use it on a particular wood species, so unless you're using, which I'm assuming is like oak, white oak maybe, that they always do, all you gotta do is buy a bunch of samples and see which one you like. How does all the stains I have ever bought always have so much orange in them? I don't understand that. I think it'll be fine. That looks freaking awful. I might as well just spray paint that orange. What am I doing? I can't even. This is how absurd that is. I can't even hold it. This is just orange. So I found a couple other stains in my little box there. None of them are enough to really make any kind of damage. However, they're darker shades. So I'm gonna throw out about 1/3 of this, mix some of these, see, who knows, maybe we'll come up with a concoction that works fantastic and will revolutionize the stain industry. Pouring the whole thing is aggressive. We're getting somewhere. It looks more brownish, mustardy-ish. That's actually pretty dang close to what I'm wanting. Oh, that's exactly what I wanted. I bet you this color exists on the shelves. They probably named it and advertised it completely falsely, but this is the look. Phenomenal. This thing came out so gorgeous. I bet you this is called like American oak or something on the shelves, who knows. I'm gonna let this dry. After it's drying, I'm gonna hit it with probably 2 coats of oil-based urethane. Oil-based, it'll last us a long time outside, UV protection, mold, mildew, all that protection. And then after that's applied, we'll start harvesting all the plumbing parts that we'll need for this, because we're gonna have crazy ozones, we're gonna have filtrations, filters, we're gonna have pumps, you name it. This thing's gonna have it. Oh, it's gonna have lights, buttons, a lot of cool shit, dude. If this is getting you excited, here's a QR code for you to scan. I'll send you the plans. You can build this yourself at home, and this thing is gonna be the belle of the ball in your backyard. It's a new day to finish off this cold plunge. I can't tell you how I'm excited about to finally start dipping this cold plunge, because my last one leaked all the time. We threw it away. A couple of things I've learned about cold plunges when you're building your own. If you don't have adequate filtration, you're basically changing the water like every 3 to 4 weeks, which absolutely sucks. Number 2 I learned about cold plunges is no matter how pretty you make them, if they're not sealed like this, they're gonna ruin over time if they're not under a covered area. Third thing I learned about cold plunges is you need a good circulation motor. I've used cheap ones, low voltage stuff on Amazon, and they just die after like a few months, to be honest with you. It's too little of a guy for a lot of water. Oh, and I also learned that you can't have too many cool accessories to it, and that's what we're gonna be handling today. Speaking of accessories, we bought spa lights. Now, these aren't your typical old LED lights. This is specifically designed for spas. So we're gonna have this light that's gonna get bored in here. We have a driver for it, and this is the coolest part. It has an air switch, so it's water safe. So basically the same air switch you'd have for your garbage disposal, we're gonna mount this sucker here. Oh look, it's in a little rubber ducky. We got circulation jets, one intake port to take water in, one out port, eyeball one, so we can create actually a circulation. We have a filter housing that will help clean the water. We have 50 micron filters, which will aid in proper filtration. My second favorite after the lights feature here is the ozonator. So this part is gonna create, to be honest with you, I don't know what an ozonator does, except for the fact that it helps clean the water.
In spas and pools, ozonators are often used to purify water by breaking down contaminants and bacteria, reducing the need for chemical disinfectants like chlorine. They help keep the water clean and
cool,
fresh.
thanks, bye. Well, we just learned what an ozonator is. We have that. And by the way, all of these plans are gonna be available for you to download. All the supplies that I'm using are gonna be on a checklist. All the schematics, how to build this exact thing, are all gonna be on a PDF plan. So scan this QR code and I'll send you the plan so you can download them yourself. But these are not all the parts that we need. There's still a gang of parts that we need, and we're gonna head down to Home Depot to get those said parts. Let's go. So we're in the home away from home for me, the good and faithful Home Depot. I have this is my grocery shopping list right here. It's done in the form of a picture. We're gonna be spending a lot of times in the plumbing aisle, so gotta get comfortable here. I want their PVC flexible hose, but I need 3/4 inch. Do you have 3/4 inch flexible PVC hose?
Yeah, 3/4, but it's rigid PVC.
Gotcha. Cool, thanks. That's 1 inch, 3/4 to 1 inch. This is like where's Waldo? Where are you at, Waldo? Oh, right here. That took at least 6 minutes to find. We'll go on the bottom of the Dana pump because it's threaded. My brain's all over the place right now. I can't think straight. I'm trying to like do a puzzle by memory. I wish I had like a shopping list with me, not just a schematic. So I just need a 3/4 to slip, and I think we got everything here. We just still need to stop by another store to get the flexible PVC, and we might be 86% there. The damage is 60 bucks. We still have to buy the 3/4 inch flexible PVC hose. We could use regular PVC, but we won't be able to maneuver things and move things around. Besides, when parts do fail, and if they fail in a couple of years, we won't have to hacksaw any of the PVC off. We could be gentle about it, calculated, dialed in, laser focus, no f***ing around, concentrated, sharp. Give me some other ones on top of it. So we're at our third store. It's really hard to track down this flexible PVC. I found 1 inch at 2 hardware stores. We need 3/4 inch. I called this specialty plumbing place. They have it, so hopefully they have it. I wonder if they also have a Dana pump, because mine's supposed to show up tomorrow. And if they have it for the same price here, you better believe I'm returning it. I'm looking for 3/4 inch flexible PVC pipe.
Okay.
I'll do 8 feet of it.
All right.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We got the stuff. Perfect 3/4 inch PVC. I've actually never glued it into PVC fitting. Learn something new every day. Oh my God. Why am I today years old to learn about flexible PVC? Headed home. Got everything we need. We'll be able to bust this out today.
You'll have to come back though.
Why?
Because you always end up going back like 10 times.
Well, when it comes to fittings, that happens, but I double checked my stuff. Wait, why are you doubting me so much? Okay, I feel so damn confident because I double checked all of the little graphs that I had. I am 98% confident I have everything. Those are pretty good odds.
There's no chance.
Well, you want to bet on it?
Look, you're always talking about health, right? And you're trying to build a cold plunge for your health. So,
Okay.
I mean, raw eggs are pretty healthy. So
Yeah. So what? You want me to what? Drink raw eggs?
yeah, I mean,
How many raw eggs? So you're saying if I have to take a trip to Home Depot to get another piece that I forgot, I have to drink raw eggs? That's your punishment?
Yeah, how about this? For every item that you have to buy that you forgot, you have to eat 1 raw egg.
I'll raise the stakes for you. If I have to go buy even 1 fitting, loser has to drink 5 raw eggs. You or me? My money's on me because I did the cross-referencing. You just know the history of work. We've worked together long enough that I have a tendency for getting fittings. So, 5 raw eggs, drink it in the cup, and you can't mix it. You have to throw them in there and just bottoms up. Deal?
All right, it's a deal.
So I flipped this around. This is going to be the back. So we're going to have some kind of utility access box, perhaps. I'm going to start with the water inlet and outlet. There's already a plug in here, so you can drain it out there, but this is not going to fit the fittings. So I think I'm going to drill a hole through here for taking water in, put one on top for pushing water out. I'm doing a lot of thinking. Oh, you got to use a 2 3/8 cutter hole saw. So that way it'll fit this plug just perfectly. Why is this moving? Oh, caught it in plastic. Ah, dang it. Very important when you get these that they have gaskets. The ones at the hardware stores, I think they usually have 1 gasket. This one has 3. 1 inside, 1 outside, and then your O-ring, like that. These are 1.5 inches, so I gotta transition from 1.5 inches to 3/4. 3/4 to our slip-on flex packs. A little bit of primer. Oh yeah. In, a little 1/4 turn, hold. Shit. Why did I assume it was a 2 3/8 as well? It's just barely. I mean, a 1/16 all around is probably the coverage of a gasket that we got. I'll throw in some silicone. Hopefully it'll work. If not, I'll just have to go get a new tub. It's a damn nice spotlight though. Let's look at the positives. Air switch, I'm thinking I want it to be like within reach, not behind me or anything, but I also don't have too much slack with this air hose. You can always buy another one, but we can make do here. I think I'm just gonna put it on the left side here. This is the front anyway, so you come on here, press the button, turn it on. Yeah, just down the middle probably will do just fine. So many problems. Because we have a 2x4 and then we have another 3/4 inch plywood underneath there, I don't have enough to get my screw on. Another option is to just press it in and then silicone around it. I hate the idea of I'm just siliconing everything. It's got a gasket. I feel good about it. Just remembered I need a second hole for my water pouring out. So we'll just drill another one here. This top one's being a doozy, man. I don't know how I'm gonna get it in there, to be honest with you. What are we gonna do about it? Every solution has a problem. As you can see, we have a merch line for that. Why? Because that happens a lot to us here. Check out my merch line, there's a link in the description. Help to support this channel, because an idiot like myself, after things like this, needs counseling. I can just get this top off, but it's secured with screws. Okay, now we unscrew this, screw back in. After it passes the lip, we should be back in business. If you're gonna do this, I might recommend putting both of these at the bottom because it'll be easy to slide them in. If you're stubborn like I am and want one on top so you can actually see the water moving, well then you're gonna have to do it this way. This washer falling off. If I jack this up, this thing is gonna be no good. Why do I do this to myself? I should have lowered this light just like a 1/2 inch and it would have been perfect. There we go. We're back in business, boys and girls. I'm not gonna secure this quite yet because we still gotta do our leak test. What I'm concerned about is make sure my light works and I didn't puncture any wires. Oh baby, we got some light. Green, blue, still blue, pink, white. That's the one I like. Kind of would like everything in line, but yeah, maybe like that. Dana pump here. I messed up. The store-wise, I messed up. I got everything I needed. I got the wrong thing. This is a 1-inch thread. All of these are 3/4 inch threads. And I got my little union fitting here, and obviously it's threaded, and that's not gonna work. So by all technicality, I gotta drink, what is it, 5, 6 eggs? What did we say? 6? Damn. The deal's a deal, we'll do that. I do need to go exchange this fitting. It'll screw in here, and then this union fitting will screw into the pump. The reason you use union fittings is because you could actually take them apart when you need to replace your pump or whatever, so you don't have to start cutting into your PVC. But the science here is gonna be gravity feeds into the pump. From the pump, it's gonna shoot it up here. It's gonna filter this section out and come out. It's gonna ozonate, that's the right word I'm using, through the top and come along with it. It is then gonna go, well, let me show you where it's gonna go. It's gonna go into Big Bertha here. This is a water chiller that I scored on eBay, I wanna say 2-3 years ago. They're pricey. Water chillers range between $500 and $1,000. This is a 1/4 horsepower. I paid, I think, I wanna say like $300 or $400 on eBay. It's worth a lot less now because I was trying to sell it on Facebook Marketplace for $200 and nobody wanted it. So that's good for me because I get to now reuse it. I bought special fittings, so it's not this hose, it's a PVC adapter. It's gonna go through all the Freon, come out of this side, through this hose, and then squirt it all right into this tub here, hopefully creating a nice little whirlpool effect. So water moves, it stays even colder. We should probably do a leak test. Folks, a lot has happened overnight, enough to start losing your hair and your frustration. So I got everything fitted here, as you saw. We got the ozone filter, the fittings finally showed up to the chiller that goes to the PVC. Awesome. Found a little leak that was coming from the bottom here. So I had to take everything out, reseal it. We're good, no more leaks. Second problem is the motor that I ordered for it is a Daner 950 or the 1200. They recommend one of those two. I found a cheap one on Amazon from Daner for like $120, which is a steal. Most places like $200. Supposed to show up yesterday. Amazon said, sorry, this product is discontinued. Awesome, nobody in town has one. So I was able to overnight one. This is the Daner 700, so slightly under power, but it's rated for this size. I think it goes up to like 500 gallons or something like that. And this is only 100. So we'll make that work. And the third thing that I screwed up on is this fitting here after the leak. I had to cut it off. Well, it's ugly. I don't like how it looks, but I can't get in there to cut it out. So what we're gonna do is gonna make a little U for our motor here. The nice thing with these motors is there's already a mounting plate. So we'll mount it like this. This will be the intake. This will be the pouring out, or I think it's vice versa. But regardless, we're gonna get it mounted, gotta make a little U. I'll make a better chart for you to follow if you want to build a cleaner version of this part. But in the meantime, let's get this hooked up and let this thing fired up. Well, this section looks like an absolute piece of crap. I hate it. So far, it looks like it's gonna work. In hindsight, what I would have done is the intake, I would have possibly either moved it, maybe like right here, or reconfigured this in a different way, maybe drop the motor lower so there's enough room. There's like a 95% chance I'm gonna redo the section just because of my OCD, but I do have a drain valve, I do have a connection here, I have a union connection here so I can take this apart. I don't have a union connection here because there's no room, so if I ever need to replace it, I'll just slice that off. Let me show you what I'm doing about the cover. The cover is the most important part. Originally, I was gonna build a wooden cover, but those things are heavy. Then I was like, well, I could split it in half, that way you only have to lift this part up and that could work. But the problem is the cover takes a lot of beating from the sun, the weather, not to mention how important it is to insulate the top of it. So then, to my pleasant surprise, I found out for this specific tub, they make a fitted, insulated hot tub cover. How freaking slick is this? Pop that open, nice and light, insulated, looks good. And I'm really happy that we ended up putting the slip on top just because it gets concealed. I got little straps I got to secure here. We'll flip this thing over, connect it, fill it up, see how she goes. And another thing I didn't mention, it's sitting a little high right now on wheels, which it's not too high, but we're gonna drop it quite a bit. And so I just made this little 2x4 pressure treated frame. It's gonna lay on the flat part, so it's only gonna be 1.5 inches off the ground, which is gonna be perfect. Let's get to work. This thing is working phenomenally. I love how high it is off the ground. You don't need a step into this. We got plenty of circulation power coming from this pump here, going through here. This is all gonna get filtered. It's all running well through the filter. It's getting ozoned. But in the meantime, 6 raw eggs for being an idiot. So please buy these plans or the merch. Help support this channel. It's the best way you can do it. Let's drink some eggs. It's a lot of eggs when you look at it on table. Hope I got a glass big enough. It's 1, 2, 6. Looks like preserved organs or something. Ugh. I'd love to mix this up. I think it'll go down easier. It's the texture. All right, bottoms up, salute. That's disgusting. I have no problem drinking eggs, but not in that quantity. How many grams of protein is that? Thanks so much for watching this video. In the meantime, let me know, what should we build next?